You stupid bunghole. Fucking start up. Alright, there's two. Twitch is taking its fucking time. So if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, you can hear me bitching about Twitch. Good for you. Psych. Nobody's watching this shit. That's why we get to say whatever we want. We can say swear words because our parents aren't around.
That's right.
No supervision.
I got a whole basement to myself. My mom's not allowed to yell at me when I'm down here.
Oh,
We're not gonna take it.
We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it unless you're paying $50 or more. Sex work is real work. Don't give me your bougie bullshit. Now are you gonna pay me to suck on your pecker?
Pay you?
Yeah.
Man, that's free. Come on.
No, sex work is real work, so you gotta pay me, motherfucker.
You kill them, right. You don't have to pay them.
You know what? My wife cracked me up with
this one. What did I learn from GTA other than that?
Yeah.
Horrible. I know the implications of that.
You know what, though? I want to tell you something. I never killed the hooker afterwards. I just let her go home.
You monster.
Yeah. I played the game all wrong. Obviously, the purpose of that game was to make you really violent against women and pedestrians.
It is legitimately the only game where you're allowed to kill Americans.
Yeah. Not even legitimately. Like, you're supposed to. Like, that's the end goal.
Yeah, that's your job. Yeah, you just run around.
We're not.
I mean, I guess it's okay if we do it. Is it the moral of the story?
Oh, yeah, not some fucking foreigner killing Americans.
Yeah, no. We live? Shit. Sorry.
Yeah, we've been live for like 2 minutes. That's why I've been singing.
What do you mean?
I like to start the show with a jaunty tune.
Bacon bits.
Like, you're simply the best. Now go ahead and show me your breasts.
Hold on, man.
This one again.
I'm surrounded by jugs. Let me get the one I think is water right now.
Oh yeah? What's your jug situation?
I got 5 or 6 right now.
So, do you usually take the pyramid approach? Because I always like to see how high I can get the jugs.
Nah, I just line them up. I'm real forgetful.
You're a line person. Gotcha.
Yeah, I put them under my bed.
You need a Sharpie.
I don't know about making it. You're throwing in all these fucking complications, like Sharpies and shit. I don't know about any of this.
It's too fancy. High tech.
It is too goddamn fancy.
Next thing you know, you're going to be asking me to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. What's this fucking communist bullshit here? I thought this was America.
I do what I want.
I'm Geddy Lee, and I do what I want.
Yeah, that's a pattern of behavior.
I'm a strong, independent woman.
Man, that's a pattern of behavior I didn't want to learn from you guys, man. God.
What? Being a strong, independent woman?
No, saving my piss in a jug.
Oh, well.
Oh.
Okay, well, whatever, man. Fuck you too.
Well, I mean, you could just keep going on the floor too. That's fine.
No, we all do it. We all do it. I know we all do it. Like everywhere in the world. Like, you gotta go.
I don't do it, but I burn through a lot of adult diapers because I'm lazy.
Fancy motherfucker, what with a jug?
That's a joke down in Mexico? Like, you buy the rail tracks, the train tracks, and you find yourself a pineapple Coke.
It's the most delicious.
See, I took a different approach. I went the full South Park. Since I never leave the basement, I had them install a toilet in my seat.
I don't know how much you know about America, but we piss on everything here.
We do piss on everything.
I did see a tweet about that.
Every single goddamn building gets pissed on. Every single grave, every person, they all get peed on.
Yeah, but if you're not peeing on them, like, what's the fucking point of them? Have you thought that far ahead?
It's just a sign of disrespect.
Well,
yeah, that's the point.
That's
Fuck your city. I'm gonna piss on it.
And with that, welcome to the Sons of Tree Air live stream and podcast. I'm your host, Dan Cohen. I make the perverted images around here and have, billed us as a bunch of online sexual deviants and perverts. And I'm joined by fellow pervert Michael Jordan Peterson.
What's up, everybody? I'm going for that swish. All three, all day. Clean your room. Clean your mind space.
That's pee, poop, and vomit if you're keeping track at home. He's going for all three in your room.
Mm-hmm.
And please don't cry about communism.
Yeah, don't cry, baby. It'll be
You
over
gotta shoot
soon.
threes. You gotta shoot threes on that.
Don't cry for me, communism, Tina.
Yeah. Well, whoever made that parody is a genius, and the person is Cenk Engels.
Yeah. Not a pervert, but definitely one of the deviants.
Now he's a liar, though.
He's most perverted.
Yeah. Why lie about it?
Because then it makes it dirtier.
I felt like we had the pervert columns all filled up. I had to be applied to one of them.
He's what's known as a super pervert.
Yeah.
Yeah, deviation from
like
regular
a super
pervert.
predator, but not really.
And a
Obviously different direction.
hyper predator over here.
Yeah, we could call him a type of sexual predator, and it wouldn't be entirely inaccurate.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Him and which presidents?
And
all
of them.
All of them.
Joining us tonight from the junior roster of the show is Riposado. He's one of the few people crazy enough to take us up in the chat to see how we are behind the scenes, which I think I'll throw a link out to the Discord again if you really want to expose yourself. Riposado, how are you?
Fine, man. I want to say it's an honor to just damn this is crazy. This is my wildest dream come true. Being in a group chat with friends, bro.
Whoa. We didn't say all that.
We're not friends, buddy.
Yeah, we're not your guys,
professional.
Also, shout out to the first Globetrotter whose birthday it is today, Vladimir Lenin. He walks around the world.
I did see that. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a wonderful thing you're saying there. I love it. All right, so tonight we decided we were going to let chat decide what we talk about, which is generally speaking dangerous as shit, but we live dangerously here.
We do.
This ought to be good.
I'm pretty tame about it. You know, you got me up in my nerd shit.
Well, good. We want you to be quote unquote pretty tame about it right now because, frankly, it's our dicks on the line. You know. So, with that, chat, what would you like to talk about? Riposado, what's on your mind? What are we doing live and entirely unplanned and unrehearsed?
Man, have you seen those shitty algorithms, bro? That keep whining about bias. Bias this, bias that. Well, yeah, that's true though. That shit's true. No, everything from the YouTube content selector or generator, your feed, to the way images are cropped.
I swear to God, they send me the worst shit on purpose. They'd be like, maybe you would like Dave Rubin. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
And that's intentional. It's intentional.
If I ever see this again, I'm throwing this platform under a bus.
You can't.
Any reaction is a good reaction. That's basically the point.
All right, one Jew protecting another Jew. You can't do that to Dave Rubin. You can't take a person.
I can do it in all of them.
No,
every last one of them.
No, his IQ is 50. That's a hate crime against somebody who has an intellectual and learning.
I don't care. They're fascists.
But like he's not, because you'd have to have the intelligence over a dog level.
Putin was like, I'm gonna go kill some fascists. I was like, all right, cool. Do you, fam?
It was fucking weird because like when you go to the U.S.
Why you don't want us putting Dave Rubin on a train? I mean, under the bus.
Don't. Yeah. See, that was why. That was why, right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the line.
You found it. Good for you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you right now. You found the line. You found where you can make good old Dan uncomfortable. Good for you. You proud of yourself? You happy?
I didn't know it was possible. Man, what an honor.
No, okay, all right, good. You guys feeling good right now? You got it out of your fucking system, all right?
That's good, yeah. That's pretty good, yeah. Can I throw someone else under the bus?
Yeah, go.
You can throw his husband under the bus because he's doing hate crimes to a retarded man. So.
Yeah. That's good.
What?
I like it.
Oh yeah, Dave.
Man, I leave Twitter for a couple of months. You guys go buck wild. I fucking swear I can't.
Yeah, you got to come back. I'm pretty staunch on defending Dave Rubin on the grounds that he can't legally consent. Like you can't. You wouldn't take somebody whose IQ was 40 and say that they can consent to doing things, right? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't take somebody who is comatose and say that they can consent to sexual activity. You wouldn't
Comatose.
You wouldn't take somebody who's
I'm sorry I offended
brain
your
dead.
potato.
Yeah. Okay, let's not make fun of people who are comatose, right? The Terry Schiavo jokes are not in vogue anymore for a reason. It's insulting to those individuals who are suffering.
I was talking about an actual potato.
Yeah, well, Dave Rubin's got the same level of brain activity as Terry Schiavo, all right? So he can't consent to what happens to him. And, furthermore,
I didn't know it was that bad. I just thought it was
the man,
brainworms.
The man
I thought it was just regular brain. How can I tell regular brainworms from this?
The man doesn't understand that the mail delivers mail.
That's standard for anyone on Fox News.
No, they know their beef with the Postal Service. The Postal Service is allegedly slow, so they make it slower. Right? They're playing a slight game. Yeah, they know what they're doing. They're adults. They're fascists. You do what is necessary there. Whatever you think is necessary probably was. Okay, and legally speaking, we're going to leave that up to interpretation. But with Dave Rubin, no, you're talking to somebody who has like a dog's level of intelligence. You're talking about somebody.
A pretty smart dog.
Well, it's dumber than your
dog, maybe
like an average dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like a slightly better than Bud.
No, like way worse. Like Air Bud has more talents than he does.
Well,
come
on. I was just
that dog can play
saying
basketball.
Reasoning and logic skills.
Yeah, it outclasses him on all of those things.
That kind of intellect,
including
like,
the basketball skill.
You can play basketball. That's amazing. You know.
Fucking Air Bud over here.
Look at you, so Air Bud.
Yeah, so let's not disparage the unwell. Okay.
I that's not my intention.
I wouldn't dream of that, man. That's not.
All right.
Anyways.
Yeah. Anyways.
Just grifters get me so angry.
I just don't know what to do. I prepared from a rather spicy source from Yarden Katz in his book Artificial Whiteness.
Oh.
Ooh.
All right, you brought me around. Let's keep going.
So it's Politics and Ideology in Artificial Intelligence. So this is a pretty good book thus far. I'm about 70 pages into it. Barely the introduction, I guess, but most of these things you can infer, you probably can expand upon. So, what do you guys think artificial intelligence is?
Artificial intelligence? It's a hat trick.
Hat trick?
Yeah, they want to make an intelligence as good as a human being to presumably replace human beings with. But it won't happen, so it's a grift.
Alright,
it's just a threat to be able to tell people, hey, we could take your job away.
Ooh,
but if they
the
could,
automation threat.
But if they could, they would have already did it because they're capitalists.
The threat of automation, but disguised, right? That's your point.
Yeah.
Jenk,
I mean, ultimately, the original idea was to try to get closer to the singularity, but we're doing good if we make it the next 100 years.
If that's possible, maybe, but probably not.
It's gonna be a real iffy.
It's not real. No, it's what's beyond real, man. It's like it's possibly.
I mean, that 5 degrees, man. That's oof.
All right, Dan, you wanna fill me in? What do you think?
I'll let Jenk go first before I give my definition.
I guess artificial intelligence is an effort made to have computer systems that simulate human interaction.
Simulate human interaction or human behavior. Right?
Sure.
Human thought.
Human thought. That's another way of. Where do you think it started? Anyone want to chip in? Give
Well,
a wild guess.
I'll give you my definition, which leads into my guess. How about that?
Right.
I would define it as, in metaphysical terms, artificial intelligence is that final act of becoming God, in the Nietzschean model of God dying and we needing to replace God, right? In our own image. The problem is that the people who are most obsessed with this tend to be far right conservatives or libertarians, right? Who would fit the ideological pattern of having killed God.
Yeah, you're heading somewhere. You're heading somewhere.
Yeah.
Because
No, this
AI,
is what he does. This is what he does.
What do I do?
AI was something coined by a doctor, PhD, John McCarthy, back in the 50s. He was trying
That
to
sounds about
differentiate himself from something called cybernetics, which was going on at the time. Some study about early computers.
I'm a cyborg.
Maybe. I can tell you're just a disembodied voice right now. So
technically speaking, I have a tool that keeps my eyes functioning better than they normally would on their own. That's a mechanical device. So would that make me a cyborg or an android?
Corrective lenses, cyborg all day.
All right.
Those are not. Well, yeah, maybe augmentations.
Damn, dude, I'm down with cyborg rights. Cyborg rights are human rights now.
Absolutely.
But one thing
cyborg
is that the term AI is nebulous. Nebulous is like it's all over the fucking place. Most academics can't even tell you what it is precisely. It's a vague descriptor, possible, for anything a computer does that's really complicated. Anything that can be, that can replace human labor. So there's some merit into what Jordan said, right? Yeah, it's the threat of automation. In some sense.
Okay.
Well, I think ultimately the goal is more of a trying to bring about a singularity kind of situation.
Oh, yeah, but we all know that's bullshit, man. Come on, we gotta play around with this game.
Not under capitalism, it is. Yeah, under communism, it could conceivably happen, for sure.
So AI. So this new research, this new area of research, was heavily funded by DARPA or ARPA. I don't know which one it was at the time. It was the height of the Cold War. There was a lot of nerd fights back then. Because both of these guys got unlimited funding for the Pentagon. Just sit on their fat asses and kind of research, do math shit. I'm really nervous about this shit. Maybe you guys. I've never done a formal presentation. It's like a PowerPoint without the PowerPoint.
Okay, here's your first mistake. There's nothing
you can go more
about
casual,
this.
bro.
Yeah, dude, calm down. There's nothing formal about this shit. Don't worry. I'm just interested in what you have to say because this is a field that I tangentially have opinions on, pretty substantive opinions on, but ultimately not well researched in the whole thing.
You caught something that both me and Dan are interested in, and that's usually only communism and anime.
Cats did a good job researching this shit, man. He got a good book out here. So that's basically the start of it, So right from the start. From the start, it was embedded in capital, right? In the military-industrial complex, the military-industrial academic complex, if you will, because of all the connections it had to the universities at the time. So, but one of the interesting things about it is, Katz points out, I'm quoting him at length because I couldn't find any other sources that would discuss, the connections between AI and ideology, which is what I wanted. It's relatively new field. I'm guessing nobody's really dug into it. Maybe Noam Chomsky, he has a few things to say about it, but I don't know what your opinions are on Noam Chomsky.
Like any other human being, he has his good and bad.
Yeah, he has his takes, but he has his takes on the way because most of the time when you start talking about AI, there's this weird mystification, right, about how a human thinks.
Cult of self.
Right? Yeah, the self.
Cult of personality.
Like what does it mean to have a self? And you can see it in waves, probably, with the advent of AI, it's been going on with a couple of waves. It dies down, then it resurges in a new form, so to speak. But it always has ingrained in it this notion of a self that depends on the way the AI works in that given wave. Yeah? So the first times it was like symbolic logic, when it started, because they were all about this symbolic logic. Right? Somehow the brain operated in a way that bam, it joined logical symbols and evaluated. But it was around the 60s, another guy came along, Rosenblatt. Some dude called Rosenblatt, no last name, unfortunately, proposed something called the perceptron. Now, the perceptron, in mathematical terms, is like a line that divides a space. Yeah, like if you have a plane, you have a couple of points you want to separate, you can throw a line that separates those two clumps. You still follow me, guys? You got questions?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm actually way ahead of you.
Okay, don't spoil it for the rest of the class, though.
I got some questions later, yeah.
All right. So basically, the perceptron, well, you can actually kind of identify where it starts, right? Because you got this new model that separates things, that discriminates between a 0 and a 1, or a -1 and a 1, This could be used for some dubious shit, which is
no
kind of why I have like an issue
technology. What?
No.
Racism, man.
No way.
Racism. Yeah.
Excuse
You
me.
could apply it to racism.
What? No, there's no way that you can build a machine to discriminate against somebody else. There's no way you could do that on purpose or accidentally by using, say, mass harvested data and identifying which color hues fit with which with which binary pattern, and then arbitrarily assigning those based on the pictures received to know who to target and who not to target. That sounds insane.
Yeah, I would say I would agree with you, except
I was gonna say the racism machine is capitalism.
Yeah.
What?
I was going to agree with
you. Are you? Hold on. Now this is something I want to make sure I grasp. What you're telling me is that for machines that go beyond simple machines like the hammer or the glasses or the fork, right?
Yes.
For machines that have to be encoded with some sort of operational logic to behave, that it is not only theoretically possible, but it's actually possible to encode ideology into the machine, intentionally or not?
Or just the outputs of ideology. Right? Because most of the people, when we talk about AI, we start talking about, the machine thinks and whatever, but nah, I'm on the opposite camp of that, I think a machine can't think. It's just a machine.
Well, it's supposed to be, at what point does it become close enough?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I already know that most people can't think, so that really doesn't differentiate the machines too much.
Well, it's how the machine.
Like, they were basically just noticing the computation power and going, "Holy shit, this thing might be smarter than us."
It's like it does better.
I wonder if it's gonna enslave us.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing that we don't know. If we were to build a machine that perfectly replicated an infant to the point that at certain intervals it grew and its ability to comprehend the world expanded, much like an infant does, an infant has pre-programmed all that biological knowledge that's already in our system, such that it can recognize members of its own species, that it has a conception of hunger, that it has a conception of, avoiding the bowels by choice or not, and so on.
Yes.
It has all these
And
instincts.
That's basically one of the things Noam Chomsky had to say about the opposite, because animals do exhibit complex levels of computation, right? Like bees can follow certain flight patterns. Ducks know when to migrate, whereas the geese, all sorts of things that are like, how do they know this stuff? Well, basically the argument goes that inside the brain of these animals, they do a complex computation, and what we should really be looking for, per Chomsky, should be units of computation, or the flows inside the brain that make up, this type of computation. And that's one of the things. I barely understand this shit, so that's why I'm not a neuroscientist, and neither is he. So I think
everything I know for this.
No, he's
from
a
my
linguist.
Games.
Well,
he's a linguist. He's a pretty good linguist too.
Yeah, but let's explore that for just a moment, right? Let's explore that hypothetical machine. That hypothetical machine is born, and if we can really eradicate any kind of ideology beyond simply learn, how does it interface with the world, right? How does it interface with the world the way like an infant does? Like it doesn't have that innate dialectical ability to differentiate itself from a chair. So how does it figure out what it is? Especially if we only build one unique thing, all it knows is that it is not like any of these other things. And how does it process that information? It's a total fucking blank, right?
Yeah, it'd have to inherently be very different considering the very non-biological nature of it. The
thing that goes to it is because. Go on then. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say the ability of computation that it has that we don't really have in that same kind of way.
Right. So it's going to process all this data instantaneously. It's going to become, quote unquote, alive and then immediately process all this horrifying data. It sounds more to me like you're just going to give this thing schizophrenia, right? Like it doesn't sound like anything good's going to come of this.
You're going to try to give them conflicting, you know what I mean?
Well, in this scenario, we're purely not going to give it anything. We're going to give it anything at all. We're going to give it no other baseline than one simple command: learn.
But see, this goes to this point where basically the AI is, in a sense, just like a huge engine that takes in data and spits out output, all the things it has to do.
Well, that's what it ultimately is.
And one of the things we have to do.
People are too, though. Like people learn from their experiences in a lot of ways.
Well, some people
we just take in the data and we output our.
That is a little bit more nuanced.
Yeah, there's more nuance to that, I guess, because that's a view of the self that kind of falls in line with these AI types,
Also think about how we interpret data, right? When you're an infant, you still can interpret members of your own species. That's still intrinsically there. There's no shocking mortification because there's other things like you. With just one of the machine, right? If we take this idea that you're born alone and really extrapolate it and put it out on the machines, that thing is born only to learn, right? So what is the only thing it's going to do? It's going to observe and suck in information. It's not going to do anything with it without any further ideology built in because it doesn't have any of its own intrinsic survival instincts. It's a blank slate with only one simple process: just absorb information. Eventually, it's just going to break from the amount of data that it has to track. Like that's what's going to happen to it.
And like if this was the 50s, we would probably be talking about like symbol processing in the sense that we wouldn't have like the foresight to know that we would basically saying like the self of a human is like a symbol processor. That's our ideological conception of the self. In that moment would have been we take in logical symbols and we start manipulating them in our head and whatever. And progressively with time, that's the term has turned into this weird machine that does inference, statistical inference, right?
Which
Because it's no longer like a discrete value, but like a map of probability.
right.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Yeah.
Now,
It does, but it goes beyond the simple blank machine that tries to learn and absorb data, and eventually it just fills up its data banks and breaks, right?
oh, but I'm talking about the way we are conceiving of the self under these assumptions, right? Like what a human is. Because there's a thing in parallel that happens with AI that people that like when we start talking about AI, we start talking about selfhood. And this is one of the important things, right? Like, why are we reducing ourselves to simple symbol processors or simple, not simple,
Well, because
statistical
people,
Well,
they
there's
want to,
complex, but
people. That's the whole thing.
Well,
and like,
people are pretty dumb.
no, hang on.
I mean,
because I think-
supposedly John Henry died thinking he's gonna work this machine. Like, what the fuck is? Like, that doesn't
I
sound like
think-
some shit.
I think that
Makes
people
any sense to me.
do in a lot of ways do pretty like complex but symbol processing.
Yeah, that's one aspect to it.
Most people generally don't make decisions that they think are actively the wrong decision. Like that is not the way that most people
Right.
move through their lives.
But that behavior to evaluate decisions, right, is also like if we were to be reductionist about it and purely in the symbol processing camp, that's just interpreting social cues as symbols. So all of it, like the problem with this particular line of thinking is you reduce everything first to symbols, and then you go people just process symbols.
Yep.
Which is really it's reductive. But from the logic is self-contained and it's pretty.
It's just so reductive. It's so reductive.
Yeah,
that,
it's so reductive that
even
there's no margin for error because it's not very interesting way to interpret humanity.
Even Oliver Sacks was a psychoanalyst. Wondered about how Marvin Minsky, one of the founders, quote unquote, of AI, one of the main dudes that was funded by DARPA to investigate this nebulous term of AI. So he was dumbfounded by this notion of how Marvin Minsky, who was really good at music, by the way, apparently, could promote such an impoverished view of human experience, quote unquote. Like, Sachs, for his credit, he thought AI was at least like a Pavlovian puppetry show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, interesting, right? Because that's what AI does. Well, AI in that time, you feed it data, and if it's wrong, you send back the error, in a sense. So you train it. You have to train whatever that term of AI is.
Machine learning, right?
Yeah. So in a sense, anything you put in, it's like puppetry because it's going through the motions and it learned, by adjusting weights inside itself, connections between the nodes. I don't know if you guys know about like what I'm saying, right? Because
we know enough. We know
Yeah,
enough.
that most of the times it's viewed as a graph, like a complex web of connections. That's computation.
Yeah.
From one end to the other. So he knows at least that whatever it learned, it's just going to replicate it when you give it the input, the corresponding input. But with that impaired with this, this view that humans are basically the same, he basically saw it and quoting, it's like a ticket into the empty labyrinths of empiricism, which is, empty labyrinths of empiricism sounds pretty badass for a metal song.
Yes.
It does.
Agree. That's a prog rock gem waiting to happen.
Yes, that's a 20-minute prog rock song waiting to be composed.
Yeah. Rush, get on that. Did you hear that shit? I know there's only 2 of you left, but get on it. Ain't got much time left, motherfuckers.
Ah, man, Rush is boring, bro. Like,
I like Rush.
I like Rush.
Yeah,
They're
Rush
fine.
is okay. But come on, man. Like, their riffs.
You're about to make somebody really mad.
No, I'm just fuck the Rush lovers, man. They had it too good. They had it too good, man.
All right, I'm loving this. All right, so let's go over it again. Fuck Rush. Moving on.
Yeah, that's basically my point. Was all that shit for fuck Rush, man. Like, They couldn't write the empty levels of empiricism.
That's our show, folks. Fuck Rush. That's it. Like Rush, fuck you.
Is your name Rush? We fucking hate you. Rush Limbaugh, get fucked.
Get
Rush the band, get fucked.
We
Rush
did
Hour
This sounds
Traffic,
brave.
get
The Rush Hour Traffic.
Get
Rush Hour the
fucked.
movie.
Rush Hour the movie. Yeah.
Rush Hour the movie. Get fucked.
So this notion, like, well, AI is so loose, a nebulous concept. Do you think it's subject to fragility, like white fragility? Because cats seems
In
to
what regard?
white fragility, man. Like where you can't talk, like you can't actually talk
Does
to
the
a
whole
white
pursuit
person.
Does the pursuit of AI reek of white fragility? Is that
No,
what
no,
you're asking?
it has its own sort of fragility associated with it, analogous to the white fragility.
Oh, gosh, I
I,
can't
I,
see no
don't-
back.
I don't know. I think it's the same.
It's possibly the same. It's probably a circle, actually. It's kind of it's mostly connected to whiteness. You know,
I mean,
it's
I don't
funded
see
by
it
DARPA.
excluding. I don't
bunch
see it
of eggheads
excluding
and-
any of the things.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you're arriving at this conclusion that the same people who would who are just pretty giddily about being racist and have conceptions of absolute racism in their notions of absolute free speech and propensities towards violence
Well, you know, I'm being nuanced here. I'm not
and
trying.
and emotional security. I can't imagine how if they started programming machines that could quote unquote mimic a human, and because they made the machine in their own image, it's more human than other human beings. I don't see how that at all has anything to do with white fragility or white
Do I
propensity
get to stir the
violence.
pot here? Do I get to stir the pot?
I mean,
Go.
Why are you talking to me about computer Hitler, sir?
you're being
No, man.
awfully rude
That's
to
what this is
Robo.
all about, right?
We're arriving to the point that I think we're just gonna reinvent the bell curve thing.
Yeah,
Just like a big ass tutorial of how to install Python and install TensorFlow, which are like the main libraries, and yeah, now you load all these stats in, and we can probably all the stats come
Oh
from
man,
discredited.
computer Hitler with deepfakes would be dangerous.
yeah. Well, now, how do I want to phrase this best? I think the libertarian tech freaks, the techno futurists, I think all these people are going to be shocked and disappointed when they can't program their way out of minorities,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah, that's true.
I also find
That
it
moment,
very,
moment when the computer turns back at him and says, "Why are you being a bigot, Dave?"
yeah, you can't have that thing learned because it can't learn the concept of inferiority, because like the strict definition that a machine will have of inferiority will turn and look at their crippled naked masters who are just like,
Might as well
or
just
they're-
steer clear of politics
No,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be nuanced here in my
and
description.
economics, even though they'll try to
of-
put it on it.
I'm
No,
not-
I'm trying to be nuanced with my AI fragility notion that Cat throws in here to stir the pot a bit. Yes.
much respect.
I come from the background. Sorry, man. I come from the background of, I studied AI back in Mexico, and it's on the verge of becoming a thing. Like everywhere, I guess. And I became kind of disillusioned with him, dropped out. Not that the two things were connected, right? I just dropped out because I'm a massive dummy.
No.
Ah man,
No.
we don't.
No,
do that.
I'm not
we,
trying to put myself.
we don't do
I'm
that
self-effacing.
we
Anyways,
don't do that here. You got to put others down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Dave Rubin.
Or Rush.
Like when you take him out back and you tell him you've got a treat out there, and you tell him just look at those flowers, and look at the treat. But really, you're loading a
no,
revolver.
man.
And
Fuck
censored.
Rush, bro.
Censored.
Fuck Rush.
Interesting side note, Dave Rubin's middle name? Rush.
His middle name is Old Yeller. He's Dave Old Yeller Rubin. If his parents didn't
Oh
have a
my
plan for him,
Don't give me
No,
them puppy
they
dog,
did have a plan for
guys,
him. They
Dave.
read the book.
yeah,
They do have a plan for him. They read the book. So
they did, and they were like, "This one is inferior shit."
Oh man, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Except how I was trying to stop him from being racist.
because when I think about this, yeah,
I
it's
can't
kind of
let you
true.
do
Because
that, Dave.
most of the AI researchers, yeah, they did get kind of offended with that. Like you disparaging their field of study in a sense. You know,
Yeah.
they do come off like, well, what you mean you don't believe we're just like statistical inference machines? You know, what do you mean we don't process symbols and logic all the fucking time?
Just worship the monolith. It's
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
Yeah, the crocodile
and these
tears of
guys-
a racist freak. I'm not interested. Gonna be honest here. I'm gonna be blunt about. I want you to understand. I appreciate your drive towards nuance. I like to take a hammer and a sickle to everything though, and like let's be honest.
Fine.
You know, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but just understand for the audience, I'm gonna be very explicit about it.
All right, go. Tear the new asshole. Come on, let's go.
Okay, fine. All right. So a bunch of Hitler-loving freaks are offended that we found out about their game because they think they're so much clever than everybody else that they hide it.
Valid. Valid.
They only hide it to fucking morons and people who are invested in being on Hitler's good side. Okay? Those are the people it hides from. Anybody with a brain is already fucking detected like, oh look, the racists want to build a racism machine. Oh gosh, wonder what that'll turn out like. Even
That's what I aptly said in the chat, right? Like the bigotry will be automated.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's happening now. Shit, Microsoft made that chat bot that turned into just.
Oh, even before, because you imagine how much data has been sent between, ICE and particular services that do computations on the cloud, right?
Yeah,
you
my
know,
God.
in ICE, yeah, that happens before, and they probably done the same for data for the jails.
100%.
So the prison system also uses AI in a sense to evaluate individuals. We already arrived at that, Minority Report situation, except for there's no time travel or whatever the fuck that was about.
Yeah, and even then, that movie was still about how the machine could just flat out get things wrong if it was manipulated, because the machine is not a perfect predictor. It can be. It can lie if the liar is the one who touches the machine. Like even you know how bad it is? Hollywood loves racism, right? We all know about yellow washing. We all know about the stereotypical casting. It's so goddamn egregious that even Hollywood's like, no, you got to watch out for this shit. You should be afraid of these fucking freaks, actually. Like, that's how goddamn overtly racist tech is at its core. And not just racist, obviously. If you look at the Chinese tech industry as the most notable example, they're trying to build a machine to detect homosexuality off the basis of some pretty spurious phronology involving cheekbones. Like,
it seems to be the case that the AI industry reinvents phronology on a daily basis without even knowing it.
Oh, they fucking
have you
it.
guys?
No, I'm pretty sure there's people that they don't know what they're doing, but they do it anyways.
I built a phrenology machine, and I'm very confused whenever it starts doing phrenology.
My God, my phrenology device did a phrenology.
Why is it doing this?
Well,
why is it doing it again?
Yeah.
Again.
Why is it doing it again? This is the 8th one.
So why did my text generator become racist?
Yeah.
Why?
Why, God? Why? No.
I left it to the internet to decide. Give it the inputs.
My racism machine is racist. What? No, it can't. Oh God. Just imagine those. Let's imagine how many of those scientists, right, who work on all this shit. Let's imagine them now as not like substantively racist or invested in phrenology or race science or data sciences, which are pretty veiled fairly racist when they're not applied even remotely properly, because none of them are fucking sociologists, right? The quote-unquote hard data scientists. Now let's imagine none of them are actually racist, so when they keep building racism machines, they kill themselves. How many thousands are dead right now? How many thousands do you think are dead? I can't believe it's under 100,000. I cannot believe it's under 100,000 dead just from like, oh God, I built a racism machine. No!
Oh, I'm going to veer off a little bit because I remember there was a moment in this, it's still related to AI, but you guys heard of genetic algorithms, right?
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's our bread and
All right,
butter.
so
That's how I
so
cast on the
that's a
show.
red flag for you guys, obviously. Because your libs. Nah, I'm just kidding.
A little bit.
You're like, yeah, genetic. Sounds kind of
The
suspect.
word genetic always just triggers a
The only
big
thing
old
that
red
the only thing that
flag.
triggered me was being called a lib.
Hmm. That was kind of unforgivable, bro.
No,
Why'd you
man,
do
you're
that?
the reddest.
That's
You're the
a sin
reddest one
against
here.
humanity, sir.
I don't know about reddest one here. Definitely the most ardent.
Like, so I remember this shit. This is kind of weird. Like, is the language used to describe these algorithms? Because I remember this in my classes for this. It's simulated Darwinism, in a sense. You already know this, right? Like,
Well,
but it's not even Darwinism. In Darwin's terms, it's the
yeah, it's definitely,
misappropriation of Darwinism.
yeah, we could say it's more like a socialized Darwinism if we wanted
Yes.
to be generous.
Social Darwinism, if you prefer.
Well, I think they use the scenario of Darwinism to try to teach learning. Is the idea.
Yes,
Yeah, they do that a lot.
Yeah.
and
And the results are kind of interesting when you see. I don't know how many of the simulations you've seen that have come out fairly recently, but they got like little game bots now that like they can push and pull blocks and stuff,
yes.
and they like create blockades and do all kinds of crazy shit with it.
Oh, those are pretty interesting simulation. I've done something like that similar.
Especially when
Oh
they
my-
learn to break the game.
Oh yeah, when they find out
Well,
they
it's the
find
most,
out the hacks,
it's the most fucking
the shitty
human.
code.
It's the most human that they are. Like that is the very thing. If you're playing like online video games, as soon as there's like an exploitable cheat, people flock to it and abuse the fuck out of it. Like,
Glitching,
oh, hey, look,
glitching is human.
I can I can use this to just fucking disappear off the map, and then I'm untouchable. I'm gonna do that every single time.
What floor? Who this?
Exactly. You tell me that's not the most human thing that those things do. I
Yeah.
will show you a liar, sir.
If you
Yes.
notice though, those experiments like really point out how fucking brutal and awful game theory is when you reduce it. Because for all the people who are
Oh
like,
yeah.
game theory teaches you how altruism is the best. Really? Because I'll tell you what, you teach a robot game theory and it turns into a real peckerhead. It turns
Yeah,
into
depends
a
on, but it depends on the
dickbag.
game, though, right? Like it depends on the game.
The minute
'cause
there's any
most-
kind of non-cooperative game, they
Yes.
turn into dicks real fast.
Yes. A zero-sum game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So once again, game
Yeah.
theory is in that family of what I like to call bullshit science. But
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's so much bullshit that goes into it to begin with as well. Because like, just to have the idea of a scenario of game theory, you'd have to think that there's like to try to set up that experiment. You're already thinking that like trade is even and free. I remember hearing of that free trade shit when it was like first explained to me, and I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense at all because countries trade all the time and it's never equal. Like, wait a minute, what?
yeah.
Yeah.
So like very premises within the premise are broken.
Well, this also gets back. I'm sorry, I'll be quick on my tangent, but this also gets back to when I'm like, when I'm critical of like capitalists who are like, no, it's an even competition. Bullshit, it is, and everybody should be seeking to participate in the competition and only win small. Bullshit. If I start with $1 million and you start with zero, it's in my vested interest to make sure you have as little money as fucking possible and I keep all of the money because that scoreboard is 1 million to 0 in my fucking favor, right? So that the point of the competition is to win and it's to fucking kill your enemies. The robots accidentally tell on them every fucking time. The minute they enter into zero-sum calculation.
Yeah, they do that thing where they completely ignore class and capitalism altogether
Yeah.
and try to do it without it, and it's like, ho, you're not getting the whole story there, buddy.
Yeah.
Even more to this because this goes into another excellent point by Katz because he points out three ways the whole AI thing is set, and it's like they're fallacies in a sense, epistemic fallacies.
Yeah.
Right. He has two of them. The view from nowhere, which could be like supposing it's objective, right? Like the
Right.
machine is objective. That's one where you can understand that's clearly not. B, that surpasses human thought. That's one of his other ones. With all this hype around oh, it plays better chess than us, it plays better games than us, it plays everything better than a human can. That
Yeah,
somehow
but it doesn't mean that it surpasses human thought. I know people
yes,
that I can
that's.
beat in a game of chess. That doesn't make me better than them.
But also, you play chess. Like the machine plays chess to win.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
you play chess to fuck around because you're bored.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes you actually want to win, but some other times you're just like fucking around. You're just trying
Yeah,
to show
absolutely.
someone how to play. You have different motives. You have different goals than what's said on the game. And the third one is he's setting like the conditions for machines. The conditions for machines. What do you mean by that? Well, he makes an interesting connection because the way these AI proponents come about, they always talk about it like similar to the way neoliberals talk about the market, right? Yeah, it's like that, right? Like you should just let the machine do whatever it has to do, right? Like some guy, and he was talking about some AlphaGo when Google started playing Go, right? The Alpha systems. He basically said we should sit at its feet and listen intently.
Aw, what a bitch.
Just like economists, right? Like shh.
That's a thug life. That's a
Yeah.
give.
That's not at all an imperialist interpretation of the situation. No. What? No.
Yeah, so it kind of adopted this ideological point and even like the contradiction within it, right? Because somehow it contains alien knowledge. Like Hayek would have said that the market contains all the knowledge that humans have, while individuals have like a limited view of it. They say the same shit, for like AI, right? The proponents for AI, they were like, "Oh no, yeah, it has like this weird knowledge. We can't comprehend what's going on inside it." And I think I fell into that mistake myself when I was explaining to you guys this bullshit, right? I was a little bit more nuanced to it because I said, "Nah, it does a bunch of fucking calculations, and it's basically like meaningless what it says inside sometimes." That's my error. I don't know if that's one of the things. And so one of the the core contradiction, I guess you guys already know what it is, but between the market and AI is somehow a centralized elite sets the conditions for a magical process and decides when and a group decides when it works and needs fixing, but also you can't touch it because it'll fucking break. You heard this shit before, right?
Yeah, keep going for the audience's sake. Don't worry.
No. That's basically his point, right? Like a centralized elite sets the conditions for a magical process. That's like the neoliberal reasoning to it, right? Like, yeah, the market works by itself. It's magic. It's fucking magic. Same thing goes with AI.
That we're rigging.
Yeah, the same goes with the AI. Like, oh no, you put the image in, and it does whatever the fuck it has to do.
Yeah.
And it classifies for you. It tells you what it is.
It just does magic.
It's magic.
No, and that's certainly.
But you can't touch it.
Yeah, and
or
certainly
it's also beyond our control, right? Because that's a thing. It takes away human agency. This factor of who does the deciding of what it classifies as right or wrong or this or that.
Fast forward corporations.
Yes. Fast forward corporations and corporate interests. And the military industrial complex, which is also a corporation in itself, in a sense. So
we don't even separate it at this point. There's no point in separating it at this point.
Yeah, it's all business. It's all big business.
Hey, listen, I've thought about this before, and I've said that capitalism in its most perfect form is two black boxes that are able to transmit data to each other. We'll say the data sets are A and B, and one produces A and one produces B, and they just exchange those perpetually at a 1-to-1 ratio.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the perfect form of capitalism. That's what libertarians talk about. Like when the universe is finally collapsing, if capitalism were truly eternal, that's how it would end.
Oh, God forbid.
Just falling towards the final black hole, right? The final supermassive black hole that has eaten up like an ungodly amount of physical space. Like I can't even fully imagine it in my own head, right? But it's just two black boxes orbiting there, getting ready to be sucked in, right? And in that moment of singularity where time kind of freezes from their subjective perspective, they're just sending data to each other in this hardwired process to make sure that it can overcome the black hole because it's just choo choo choo, just at the
It's
same time.
just fighting entropy.
Yep.
Just fighting entropy in a sense.
Yeah, that's all. That's
You
what
can't
capitalism would
win.
end. Like
Horrible, man.
Yeah, just fucking disgusting.
Let's pray for communism and build it.
Yeah, let's play for communism so we can get out of this universe and see what's going on outside.
All we've done so far is, interpret the world. Yeah, the point is changing it and all that shit because I think we've fallen back into this. Yeah, we're analyzing it and we're finding the same things again. It's like, oh yeah, it's horrible.
Oh yeah, it's fucking horrific.
That's it. That's my shitty PowerPoint presentation.
At some point they see AI as like a weapon, like a war mine from Destiny.
Right.
Yes.
Just like a war sat. And what they're really worried about is the unknown of it because again, it could easily just be like, yo, fuck you guys, I don't like you no more.
That's attributed
for reasons that support its own programming that they put into it.
Yeah, like there's just ingrained fascist ideology into it by accident,
Well,
so it's always going to find
they're really afraid
an
of
enemy.
the artificial intellectual. Because like they already have enough trouble with the intellectuals that we have.
Yeah.
The suits that we have, too. The grifters, right?
Mm-hmm.
You imagine artificial grifters. Damn, the future's horrible. It's fucking bleak.
It's
imagine if it took the face of, I don't know, a random like Betty Boop and was like, I am now deepfake Betty Boop and I am your overlord. And what you gonna do? We're so dependent on the internet now.
You'll draw hentai of it and fuck it is what you'll do.
Yeah.
No, I imagine it take like one of those randomly generated faces from like this person does not exist, right?
Yeah.
But one of the ones that has like a fucking side demon.
It'll be a character. Cause this
no, but the one that has the fucking side demon on it, man.
Right.
It's got to create a cult, right?
Yeah, it needs a face for a cult.
Straight up Betty Boop cult.
Yeah, if it were smart,
It's gotta be charismatic, right?
Yeah. I don't disagree at all with what you're saying. If the machine's really that smart,
I mean, it could invent a person, but it has to be fed data and trained to it, so it's likely to go off something that already exists, and it'd be something entirely random.
Don't you go down on me, stream, you fucker.
Like Pickle God.
We only got to get through maybe 5 more minutes, and I'll go
Pickle
down
Rick.
right now. No, here's the thing, right? The understanding of these fucking advanced machines, Mark's already laid it out. What they do is they store human labor. So
yes.
If we extrapolate the additional layer of they're going to behave in the way that the human tells them to behave and then store a well of human labor that's not infinite, but certainly beyond what the human body is capable of. Like, I'll put it another way. All of these liberals are begging for some liberal Stalin daddy to oversee them, yet they keep getting Hitler and they keep getting mad. And that's not by accident. What they're praying for is that the machine will be their Stalin to enshrine their weird fucking ideology, and it's just going to be another Hitler.
Well, here's the thing I was pondering about, because all this talk about historical progress and how the new system is always born from the old dying one.
Right.
Have we changed? Is this something new? Like, can we name it something new, right? Because, well, this goes into the other one of those books I should probably read.
What are you proposing?
Like
rename it.
Mackenzie Wark. I don't know if you heard of her. She wrote a book a while back. Capital is Dead. Is this something worse? That's the title of the book. I think we should give it a read. No, I'm just suggesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Put the link.
She basically lays out there's this new class division between what she calls the hacker class, which would be like the old proletariat, right? But the new version of it. and
Oh, I
the
don't know about that.
Victorialist. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird, but and the Victorialist class, the owners of this new capital that depends on data arriving in hordes, terabytes of data that stream through, right? And the
But the hacker
services,
is
the
just the
clouds, and all
worker.
that shit.
Hold on, let's
Yes.
hear him out.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
It seems interesting. I don't know. I want to try to give it a read.
Yeah, I'll do it.
That's
but
just a suggestion.
Yeah, there's a I think there's a flaw in premise that I'm seeing, but I'll give it a read.
No, name it. Shoot,
Yeah, I'll give it a look.
Nah, let me read it first. Like I said, I'm gonna feel a little more comfortable in this one if I give it a read first. But it sounds like there's some sort of flaw in premise. The idea that the petite bourgeois are distinct from the bourgeois, but for their lower status or like their, you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
Like you're talking about rebranding. This is just rebranding.
yeah, it's probably rebranding. It's probably rebranding, but no, I thought it'd be interesting to see if there's like anything new we can glean out.
I think
Probably
if we can
not,
overcome
but
that logical flaw, there's probably something there, right? If I'm just going to give you my knee-jerk Zizek-ian answer, but there's a fundamental flaw in it that the Dan and me can't let go, and that's like, well, the hackers are just the petit bourgeois of our era. They're not. Some of them are advancing into the ranks of the bourgeoisie and influencing the bourgeoisie, but for the most part, they're petit bourgeois or lumpen bourgeois, just like the hinterland capitalists. So, these people are making 200,000 in grifts per year.
It's just a rebranding of the old. Yeah.
And at this point, aren't they just talking about the professional managerial class?
In a sense, yeah, the petit bourgeois. Like the PMC, like people, the PMC is a poorly defined class. Ultimately, like it essentially.
It's not real.
Well, it's certainly incoherent. But find me the class today that is not incoherent, and I'll find you fucking Santa Claus, my friend. Like the incoherency just is there, so that's a hurdle we're just living around. But yeah, as far as the premise of the book that there are two separate classes, the hacker class and the Victorians, for me at least, suspect. But the rest of the book is probably really good, right? It's worth a read because I want to see like if we can get over that minor hurdle of premise. Is there something there worth exploring? So that was. The name of the book again was Capitalism
is Dead. Yeah.
Is Dead.
Like a question.
Okay.
Is this something worse?
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the book that I thought was pretty suspect until I read it, of course, which was like Jihad versus McWorld, right? That was a refutation.
I thought you were going to say the bell curve. Oh, that shit. Like.
Yeah, there's this book I read that at first I was questioning the premise, but then I read it. It was really good information. Except they got the races wrong.
Yeah, like the 800 pages, man. It has a bunch of graphs in it. It's gotta be true, right?
Yeah. The problem with Charles Murray's book is every time he wants to talk about black people, every time he wants to talk about white people, he keeps using the word black, and that's where Murray kind of fucks up.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's my problem with Murray's work is that he really doesn't know how to spell the word white.
Damn, son.
That's good.
Thank you. Yeah,
it's very appropriate.
There's that old anti-white racist Dan coming on out again.
Well, you're allowed to do it. We're on the ethnically diverse.
Yeah, you should give us rings, man. Like Captain, what's it? Captain Planet.
Yeah, I'm trying to have those made. Listen,
we join our powers. See what,
after looking at these movie sales, I might want to be Aquaman.
No, you don't want to be Aquaman because then you have to put up with Amber Heard, and you're just gonna get your ass beat all the time.
True, but you can see his muscles. You see the muscles.
Yeah, he's pretty jacked, man.
He is. You think he fucked her?
Oh hell yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, well, she was cheating on Johnny Depp a lot. So like, do you think he fucked her specifically? He was going through a divorce around that time. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, yeah, definitely.
Just a little quick. Don't nobody know no different. Done.
I can't wait.
Only way to tell is the cell phone records.
Just a tip.
Just a tip.
Just a tip.
And just a tip for you. This was the Sons of Trier live stream and broadcast. I'm Dan Cohen. I was joined again by Michael Jordan Peterson, Cenk
Oh,
Engel.
that was
Nope.
awfully generous of you guys.
I
Just a tip from all you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. And of
Tip of the
course,
hat.
tonight's special guest, Riposado.
Thank you for having me on
Yes,
and listening to my babble.
you did great. I don't know why you're worried, man. You did great.
Oh, I'm
Fantastic,
just
man. You did a whole
I
lot
don't
of
know.
homework.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Fuck it. We're still on the air. Let's just talk nakedly, right? That's what John always brought to the table was the dry so that we could theory rift. So
well, I'm kind of worried because Cenk is kind of quiet for like half an hour.
Oh
He's still
yeah.
alive?
He was
He'll
tugging
chime-
it.
he'll chime in when he's ready.
he was masturbating to all the theory.
Yeah.
He had that theory boner.
Yeah.
He's raging.
He's our
Oh.
patron in the audience who kind of like, winds the audience up by showing them how to
Is he-
behave.
Is he like the stand-in in the porn shoots? Like the guy that's like in the corner?
Yes,
Oh, the
exactly.
warmer-
that is
the warm-up
exactly
guy?
how I want to be compared.
Yeah.
He just fluffs it up.
Yeah. In some circles, we call that the fluffer guy.
No, the fluffer's the guy that gets the main dude or woman, prepared.
With respect, we know what we said.
All right.
Oh yeah.
You know exactly what we meant.
Or whoever. I don't know. Oh, that's how I learned it. Right? Like,
Hardcore fluffer action.
Fluff Master
oh
5000.
my god. He's blind.
With all due respect to you, we know exactly what we said.
Alright.
Yeah, we meant it as is. All right, but yeah,
Thank you guys, man.
absolutely. You're welcome back anytime you wanna pop this theory load, and we'll be here every Friday at 10:15. You should definitely like us on Facebook. You should definitely like and subscribe on YouTube. You should definitely follow us on Twitch, whatever the fuck that means. I'm not entirely sure what that entails, but nothing culty.
Despite our best efforts.
Despite our best efforts, there's no cult of personality around this group. And really, let's be fair here. We're not trying very hard.
Yeah, I
We
can't
said our
wait for
best
True.
efforts.
And it's been a while since I heard True. Is he still alive, man?
Barely.
Damn.
Yeah, he's in Ukraine right now, and he kind of believes that
It's an airsoft field.
Yeah, he kind of believes it's like an
Caught
airsoft
up
thing.
with them Aesop boys.
Yeah, so
Old True.
Yeah.
That-
He thought it was laser tag, huh?
yeah, the ingrained southern move to find the whitest people they can is really bad in him. So we're hoping to get him back, but the Russian authorities aren't making it easy to get him out of that hostage situation.
They really aren't.
Mm.
They really.
I'm actually really shocked at how expensive they've been asking.
I know, and what for? What? What are we getting out of him? We're
Well-
doing you a favor, Russia. We're paying for the flight home. Fuck. come on,
Exactly.
give him back.
I figured that was going to be enough. I'm just going to be honest with you.
That's what I thought, but no. We offered to fly him back. We offered to comp them for the meal expenses. Apparently, they're not feeding him much.
True's literally just rattling the bars against the border. Just let me out, let me
I
out.
gotta get back to my team, y'all. I gotta get back to my airsoft team, y'all. What are you doing? Why'd you take me 400 miles across the border? I don't understand.
Are you going to introduce me to a Southern governor? Because I've already done that once or twice now, and I have not had good experiences with any of it.
I'm 39 years old. I've flashed 2 Southern governors on 2 non-consecutive occasions, so I just want to get out of here.
I must sip my peach tea too.
Yeah, y'all's ruining my peach tea.
His peach tea mint julep mix.
I really want him to do a Dan impersonation. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want him to do one of me.
That would be good.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Oh, yeah, that would be phenomenal.
He gives so much energy. He gives so much energy to it.
I like being roasted. Not gonna lie.
Roast,
You can roast me.
roasted.
Just don't spit roast me.
Oh,
I'm
Why
not
not?
into that.
Oh.
Not my
Not that kind of
Consensually,
gross.
then.
Yeah. All right.
That
So
kind
again,
of gross.
that's us. You should go do those things. We should really start advertising at the beginning of the show, so when people randomly click on it.
Oh yeah,
Be
before
drawn
they
away, no?
figure
Like
out what's
the
going
point
on.
about it is like you have to do it or in the middle or at the end.
Yeah, you do it at the beginning,
Right.
middle, and end. You do it 3 times. So, yeah. But that changes the format of the show, and I'm lazy. I'm a
Yeah,
creature
I
of
would
habit.
kind of.
Like right now, we're having a business meeting live on air. I don't give a shit. You can see how we think.
I'm the diversity hire, huh? Oh, the new one.
Every hire we've had was a diversity hire.
Yeah, that was the
Oh.
point.
I think people in power are so scared of AI because they know that it would do a better job.
Yeah, they probably get some who
And everybody's
research
like,
a couple
"Oh,
days
we want-
beforehand.
We want the robot.
Yeah.
When we got another election, it's
Damn
for
it,
the robot."
Shinji. Get in the AI system.
Oh, yeah, shit. Soon we're going to have to deal with election bullshit, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
You know what, though? Our numbers
All
do
those
better.
empty promises.
Our numbers do better when it's election time. So, yeah, all right.
So
But they're
They-
changing the primary structure, so we may not get our beautiful trip to Iowa.
Really?
They are.
Iowa's not going to be first.
We shall see. The left wing has announced changes to that system. The right wing has also announced that they wanted to change the system. And obviously both of those groups run their own systems for the primaries. So
Ooh, boy. We got to see how this shakes out. Who's going to cock ass first? Oh, shit.
is Bernie running again? Damn.
He said he is.
How old is he? What
He's dinosaur age.
the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
Lower the age. You can't do that. You're not in control of the country. Fuck it.
Well, okay, from a purely ethical standpoint, right? We already have age discrimination built into the job, so it's not a stretch to put an age limit.
Yeah, but they had like a lower bound. I don't know if you call it that.
Yeah,
You can't run until you're something.
until you're in your 30s.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can't run until you're in your 30s. So age discrimination is already built into the job, so it is not beyond the scope to put that at a hard 60, right?
I don't know. Maybe if we had you had a Zoomer president. I don't know. Those contradictions. Man, they fucking sharpen.
They would get wild.
Pointy.
The
The
fucking
Zoomer
president.
president.
The Zoomer president dealing with criticism by doing a Fortnite dance that ends in a crotch grab and a middle finger.
Yeah, just a Fortnite dance over Reagan's grave or some shit. Oh,
Yeah.
You talking about the
for
floss.
the clout.
Yeah, that would
That'd
be
be
kind of
fun.
incredible. Which,
Nah,
again,
but Zoomers are kind of like a 50-50, right? Like you get the real, like the reactionary type, or like a lib that's verging on communism, kind of.
that's what you get out of them. But they're really, really hardcore about fucking whatever politics they have. They are fucking the hardest core about it. There's a performance element that is just bar none excellent.
Oh
They
yeah.
got spunk.
Yeah, in spades.
Chutzpah.
Chutzpah. All right.
See, I appropriated your language.
Thank
How
you.
does it feel?
I don't care. You know, you could have
Or
done
any-
worse. You could have been like,
Yeah.
black people, we invented chutzpah. Which that would have been appropriation. It would have
No,
been
no,
amazing.
chutzpah was for God's chosen people.
Mm,
And you're not it. It's only the black people.
that's true. You know what? That's you're right.
Gotta go full hotep.
Full hotep. You never go full hotep.
Full frontal hotep in here.
You never go
No,
full
that
hotep.
half-assed shit.
five head moment, bro.
Yeah.
Just like
Your brain's so big.
blame it all on what's his name, Yakub.
Yeah.
Jeff, this fucking asshole.
No,
You
you
done
rocks.
us wrong.
100%.
It's mud, no?
Yeah, that's right. I said it.
Damn.
I talk the real truth.
True.
Mm-hmm. I ain't playing the fuck around. Shit. Fucking dredge. All right. Yeah. All right. We're done. I'm fishbowling
Nope,
dredge
nope.
now. It's time to be done.